A woman was fired for misgendering somebody at her job. Marina, what's my
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
what's
I'm
my
not saying your
pronoun?
pronoun. It starts with that.
What's it end with? See, so Marina should technically lose her job for refusing to call me by my proper pronoun. Should employers be able to fire their workers for misgendering customers? Well, one Christian woman from Apex, North Carolina found out the hard way after being fired from Starbucks 2 years ago due to misgendering. Taylor Trice's story went viral after telling TikTok about problems she ran into at her old employer when she spoke out against the adult content in Starbucks Pride Month displays. Then things got worse when Starbucks began enforcing its preferred pronoun policy. What's my pronoun? See? Taylor said she was willing to call customers by their names and avoid using certain pronouns as a sign of respect, but that using wrong pronouns went against her faith. Take a look.
A hot mess right now, so I'm going to put the camera right here. But basically, I'm going to tell the story of how I got fired from Starbucks for my Christian conservative values. So basically what happened was June came around, and as we all know, June is the month of tasting the rainbow. And I had been working at Starbucks for about 2 years at that point, so I was used to Starbucks putting up their decorations and stuff during the month of June. And throughout that time, no one had ever made a complaint about me being homophobic, transphobic, whatever, because I'm not judging nobody. I'm just not about to go along with everything you want to do if it doesn't go along with God's word. But yeah, basically, I had been used to them doing this every June. It was just that this particular year, they went a little bit beyond the rainbow and things were starting to taste sour and not sweet. So the first thing was they had like this glass wall display that was beside the cash register. And on that glass wall, they wrote like different sexual attraction definitions, right? So on the board, it would say things like a demisexual is somebody who's sexually attracted to this, and this person is someone who loves this. And I didn't shame them for it, but I was just telling them, like, you guys got to be careful. We got families walking in here and kids are going to read that. And I specifically said, even if the board had said heterosexual, I just feel like that just didn't need to be added to the decorations. And so people was getting all defensive, thinking that I'm just trying to be some type of homophobic Christian, and I was not. So that's when they started to get a little bit salty. But then another thing happened. Starbucks basically enforced this policy that if somebody's like transgender, like you have to go by their preferred pronouns. And for me, I was willing to call the person by their name. I was willing to avoid using pronouns. But it is against my faith to lie, even if it's the smallest lie. So that means if I say that you are a man and I call you a woman, that is lying, and that is identifying as you. Oh my gosh, I can't speak. That is identifying you as something that God did not create you to be, and it's identifying you as something that Satan wants to identify you as. And Satan's ultimate goal is to confuse you and deceive you about your identity. The other thing I want to make note of is that you should never underestimate the power of a small sin. The whole reason why we are in this mess in the first place is because someone ate the wrong piece of fruit. We should also take note of how the most horrible crimes in humanity never started off big. Like, people didn't just wake up one day and say, let's kill all the Jews. No, they had to start with small little propaganda to change the way people think and the way people speak. So with all those factors combined, I said respectfully, hey, I'm willing to call you by your name. I'm willing to avoid using pronouns, but it's against my faith to lie and say that you are a woman if I know that you're a man. And what was crazy is that one night I had a dream that there was conflict at my job, and one of my coworkers was basically looking at me like, yep, like basically giving me this look like, yeah, you're in trouble. And I feel like it was God giving me a heads up that I was about to get fired, because literally the day after I had that dream, my store manager comes to me and says, you need to talk with me and the district manager. And so they were talking with me and basically telling me that there had been complaints made about me and how I guess like I'm doing things that are like homophobic or whatever. And I feel like one of the complaints that were made came from the same person that was in my dream. But as predicted, I got fired. Last thing I want to say is that I'm not saying any of this to bash my old coworkers or my old manager. I actually had a lot of fun with them and I love them, and all I want to see is them to, oh my freaking God.
First of all, sorry that happened to you, but it was entirely too long. I get it.
A lot.
I get it. You know, I don't even know if your prayers to Jesus last that long. But what I will say is that when you ask, we are in a time of ultra sensitivity. And social media has made a lot of you Gen Zers, or I don't even know what you are at this point, very complicating people. I want to respect all people, but if I want to call you by your name and don't want to call you them, they, then, thou, and they art thou, like she don't want to call me that, I'm going to just respect that, and I want you to respect it. To stop me in the middle of a conversation and say, don't call me Sarah, call me they. No, I'm not. I'm going to call you Sarah. Your mama named you Sarah. I'm going to call you Sarah. Now, you want to change your name today? Go down there to the courthouse. Be they Rollins. If your first name is they, then I can call you they. But I think that that to me is wrong. I want to see this go to the Supreme Court. Now, I know a lot of you that look like me are going to feel some type of way because you're going to say, you're gay, you should support that. No, I do support gay people having rights, but I also support straight people having rights. I think all people need to be able to just respect people. You have the right to be they and them among your friends, but I think if somebody wants to call you by your name and doesn't outright disrespect you by calling you her or she, Sarah, can you please go call Sarah? Don't call her. Don't call they. Go call them. Go call Sarah. Am I wrong?
No, I was misgendered once.
Were you? What'd they call you?
Oh boy, they call me sir. When it was 2020 and I had no lashes, I had my hood up at the airport and a mask, and I guess I looked like a boy. And the lady was like, "Oh, right this way, sir." And I remember being like, I clutched my pearls, like, nah, I look like a boy. But I wasn't like, let me talk to your supervisor and blah, blah, blah.
You weren't being a Karen.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes it's hypersensitive. Like, I don't feel like she should have lost her job because it's hard out here.
That's kind of bold to actually fire somebody for that.
But I feel like it's a lot of interesting people who work and are the customers of Starbucks, so it's not shocking for Starbucks.
Yeah, but I still, anyway, look at this photo of a Pride Month display that she's talking about. Pronouns.
Yeah,
Okay. First of all, whoever works at this place and had this much time to figure this out and write this down, you can always mix and match. Many of our partners wear pronoun pins to help others.
And at least scratch off the old chalk.
I want a caramel macchiato.
That's it.
I want a lemon loaf to go. Not
and
all
a white
of that.
chocolate mocha, no whip.
This is the problem I even have where there's just too much of pushing of certain things. And again, it's too much to unpack, so I don't want to cause outrage. But, you know, again, I am a blue dog Democrat, and I believe in rights, and I believe in liberal movements and stuff. But, like, at some point, like, enough is enough. And I'm sorry, as somebody who is a proud part of the community, and I'm proud to be gay, I do think that social media and the desire to make sure everybody feels happy has allowed us to just become an overly sensitive society. Get this girl her job back. Because she lost her job and her hair did not look like that in the video, but I'm sure if she still had her coins, she would have been cute. She said at the beginning that she wasn't cute, but she was cute. Give her job back, or sue, or girl, sue and get millions of dollars. And then when you go to court, bring this big ass chart in there with all these different colors and watch the jury look at it and just shake their head right to the bank. Now, after criticism from Taylor, Taylor took to her TikTok to explain more about her time at Starbucks. Look.
So the comment section on my last video went crazy. Just a few things I'm going to say for now. Number one, thank you to everyone who was understanding of where I was coming from. I did not get to respond to everybody's comments and everybody's feedback, but for the ones who get it, thank you. Just thank you. Like, thank you. And y'all, before I worked at Starbucks, the only thing I knew about Starbucks was that it was a bougie coffee shop. I did not go there. I didn't order from there because I didn't know what the heck the menu was even talking about. I didn't become a coffee girl until I started working at Starbucks. I did not know what a latte, a frappuccino, cappuccino was until I started working there. And the reason I started working at Starbucks was because my dad found out from one of our friends that Starbucks had tuition reimbursement. And so he was like, you should go work there because they got tuition reimbursement. So I started working there because they had tuition reimbursement. And it wasn't until the hiring process that I looked around. I was like, oh, okay, I see the signs. I see the t-shirts. I see his little wokey woke over here. But I said, you know what? I'm just going to make the most of my time here. I'm going to get as much tuition reimbursement as I can. This is an opportunity for me to be a representative of Christ around others with opposite views of me. I'm going to be kind. I'm going to remain in the truth, yada, yada, yada. I was just there to sell coffee, make money, love Jesus, love others. I kept it in the back of my mind that I could run into something in the future because the people around me were very open about what they believe, and Starbucks in general just has a very strong political stance. So this is not a sob story because I am not a victim. I am victorious through Christ Jesus, even in my trials and tribulations, and we all know the end to this story. And like, I don't know if I brought this up, but this happened 2 years ago, and ever since, God has provided for me. I've been good. And I know some people were saying that I should file a lawsuit. I wasn't planning on doing that. I'm leaving that in God's hands. And then for the people worried about which location this was, like, I just feel like it don't matter. You know, I don't wish any harm on the people I worked with. And Starbucks in general has an ungodly foundation, so I try to avoid them, to be honest. And that's especially knowing what I know now about like sirens and stuff. Like, it's just, they just got too much going on. And that's all I'm gonna say for now. There's some other things that I wanted to address, but I really want to have wisdom about those things specifically before I put it out. So that's all I'm gonna say for now. God bless.
Good luck.